I'd been working in television and theatre actually. I've been doing like theatre, live comedy, character comedy, and Jacqueline Wright, who just been to film school, and she wrote to me and sort of said, have you got any, she's emailed me, said, have you got any film scripts? I was like, I do have an idea actually, but I was so terrified of the film world. I thought it was this kind of untouchable, holy grail sort of thing that, you know, you've got to be somehow inducted before you're allowed to sort of breathe the word film, you know. I want to make a film. Seems like an arrogant statement or something. So, but I have got an idea. She's like, well, just send it to me. And so I wrote a script, and it was just really liberating, having worked at that time probably about 3 years in comedy. It's very liberating to not have to worry about whether there were laughs on the page, or, you know, is this too weird, is it too strange? I think that's the brilliant thing about, well, film, but short films in particular, is if you want to try out an idea that you're not sure how it's going to work, well, that's your perfect way of proving it, you know. So my first film was called Out of Water, and it's about a girl who doesn't fit in with her family, and she sort of suspects that she's adopted, but she's not really sure, and then sort of she turns out to be a mermaid. So that's long and short of it. She turns out to be like a sort of fish, sort of dangerous fish creature, a bit like a vampire, but of the fishy variety. And she sort of goes through these transformations and ends up killing a man by drowning him. So, you know, and that was an idea that if I'd taken that to television, they just would have laughed me out of the building, you know. But doing it as a short film, it's like completely feasible. Yeah, let's have a go, let's try it, let's see what it is. Is it going to be funny? I don't know. It might be a bit funny sometimes, a bit scary sometimes, a bit horrific in other ways, you know. I don't think you should ever sort of look down on the medium of short films, really. I mean, it's kind of like a short story. Some of my favourite things are short films, because, you know, if you can encapsulate a perfect story into 3 minutes or 10 minutes, I think that's as difficult a skill as anything, really. It's kind of stripping it back, really, because you've only got a very short time to get quite a lot across, and if you can do that successfully, then you can have quite a lot of impact, I think, with a short film. I think if you are going to start out making short films, don't be afraid to fail, because it's not going to be perfect the first thing that you do, but it is important that you gain experience. You're not going to gain experience until you start doing it, and I think so much filmmaking at the moment is about script, and of course script is hugely important, but also the process of making a film is also hugely important. The edit, the music, the just being on set with actors, with performers, rehearsing it, workshopping it, all these different elements, you know, the relationship you have with your crew and stuff like that are really, really important. That you know, it's really important that people get experience and get stuck in to doing that. Do it for cheap as well. Borrow stuff, borrow equipment, ask your mates to join in and help you make it for nothing. And then you're not really losing anything, but you are always going to gain something. That's what, you know, when we were making short films and we were doing it at weekends and maybe working during the week, sort of stressed out, tired, and, you know, going, how are we going to fit this in? And the thing that would keep us going was saying, well, if we didn't do this, we would have nothing, but if we do this, at the end of it, we will have a short film. You will have something under your belt, flaws and all, but you will have done that and you will be able to gain experience. You know, the first time that we had some money to actually make something, we didn't really know what to do with it. We got so used to not having any budget that you kind of make a virtue out of that, and I actually enjoy the little problem solving and gnarly little difficulties that come up about making a short film, because I think you actually end up coming up with quite creative solutions. I mean, at the end of the day, we ended up producing it ourselves, which was extremely tiring, but I really like the fact that it gave me quite a rounded sort of practical angle on how to make short films as well, because at the end of the day, you know, if you're over ambitious and that stops you from making a short film, then you failed in a way. I think it's better to kind of go, you know, what can we do with the resources we've got, and you actually end up having quite creative solutions because of that. I think for me, I go for, like, if something impresses me performance-wise more than visually, because I think if I'm really noticing the design, it's because maybe something else is lacking. You know, not to do down design is obviously a massive important part of it, but that can all come later, you know, if you get a proper big budget to do stuff. Try and build a team around you. That's probably the most important thing. If you can find just one other person that really believes in you and you really get on with, and you respect each other creatively, and you kind of make a little blood pact with them that whatever it is, it might be a producer, it might be a director, it might be a writer, it might be an actor even. If you're I quite often say to writers, don't send your script to Steve Coogan or whatever. I mean, maybe he'll read it and say, yes, I will do this thing, but the chances may be small. So it's better to just go to your mate who you think is an incredible actor but they've not done anything and go, you and me, we're going to make something amazing. I mean, that's kind of what Shane Meadows and Paddy Considine did. If you find someone that you click with, just stick with them like glue, and together you can kind of learn your craft together and sort of develop a language together of what your brand is, what your stamp of your style is. Don't wait for permission from other people. Don't wait for someone that you perceive to be above you to give you permission to do what you're doing. Just start doing it with your peers, I think. When we were doing Jackal films, we made a conscious decision we were just going to put stuff on the internet, because I think you can be quite precious with your short film and think, right, I'm going to send it to film festivals, and a lot of people do that route and it's very successful for them, but it costs quite a lot of money, takes quite a lot of time, and as I said, we didn't have a producer, so we didn't have someone to kind of fill in all those forms for us, and it takes real work to do that, to do the festival circuit. So we just kind of consciously went, no, let's just sort of reclaim this for ourselves and just put it on the internet, and we just put it on YouTube and post it out and got people to watch it, and in that way actually festivals then started approaching us and saying, can we show your films? And quite often we'd sort of say, well look, we've made 12 of them in a year, because we did this project where we made one a month for a year, and it was just like a little pact that we'd made to sort of just get us doing stuff. And festivals would contact us and say, oh, can we show one of your films? And we say, we've got 12 of them, so why don't you just show all of them? And they would go, all right, we'll go. And we'd say, oh, we'll do a Q&A and just talk about the project really, which, actually people tended to find quite useful, because I think it's that thing of like a little person, it's like we weren't there saying we're actual experts at this, but we've just gone out and done it. And I think that was quite inspirational for people, just to sort of think, well, we've got no excuse. If they can go out and do it, then so can we, just get stuck in. I think it would be nice if they did a thing like they do in some cinemas, or they used to, where you put a short film on before a feature, just getting new talent seen and getting people excited about it and talking about what they've just seen on screen. You just want short films to get out there and people to see them as a group experience as well. I think it's a really different thing. And yeah, I just think it's a really important calling card, like training ground for lots of up and coming people who are trying to break their way into the film industry.